BingX, a trusted global crypto exchange. Trade spot, futures, or copy top traders easily. Sign up via the link or referral code to get 30 USDT instantly, plus up to 1,500 USDT in bonuses for verification, deposit, and trading.
Overnight Israeli airstrikes in Gaza have resulted in the tragic deaths of at least 60 Palestinians, a grim tally that tragically includes 22 children. This devastating assault represents a significant and immediate challenge to the increasingly precarious ceasefire, painstakingly brokered by the United States, marking it as the deadliest period since the truce commenced. Gaza's Civil Defense Agency reported that numerous children perished and 200 individuals sustained injuries in the strikes, which occurred mere hours after U.S. President Donald Trump publicly asserted that nothing would jeopardize the ceasefire agreement he championed. The offensive was reportedly initiated late Tuesday evening, following a direct confrontation between Palestinian militants and Israeli forces. This escalation coincided with mounting outrage stemming from allegations of Hamas mishandling the remains of a hostage, whose body parts Israeli troops had previously recovered 2 years prior. In response to what he termed Hamas violations of the ceasefire, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened an urgent meeting to discuss the escalating situation, as hardline factions within the Israeli government vehemently advocated for a renewed military campaign. The ensuing bombardment compelled Hamas, which has denied any responsibility for the attacks, to postpone a planned transfer of additional hostage remains that had been scheduled for Tuesday night. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One on Wednesday, President Trump reiterated his belief that nothing would compromise the ceasefire, but crucially added that Israel should hit back if its soldiers were killed. He elaborated, stating, "They killed an Israeli soldier, so the Israelis hit back, and they should hit back." This sentiment followed earlier remarks from U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, who had indicated that the ceasefire, despite skirmishes, was holding. However, Tuesday night's devastating attack starkly illuminated the inherent fragility of a ceasefire that has been plagued by violence since its inception. Prior to these latest overnight strikes, Gaza's media office had accused Israel of no fewer than 80 violations since the ceasefire began, resulting in the deaths of 97 Palestinians and injuring an additional 230. Mahmoud Bassel, spokesperson for Gaza's civil defense, described the unfolding situation in Gaza as catastrophic and terrifying, labeling the strikes as a clear and flagrant violation of the ceasefire agreement. He further detailed to Agence France Presse that the Israeli strikes targeted tents for displaced people, homes, and the vicinity of a hospital in the Strip. When questioned whether these strikes signaled a resumption of a full-scale invasion, an IDF spokesperson, speaking to The Guardian on Tuesday, stated that the military can't elaborate on the scale yet. Nevertheless, by Wednesday, the IDF announced the reinstatement of the Gaza ceasefire. The Israeli military subsequently released footage purporting to show Hamas members reburying a body, an act they claim was orchestrated to stage a false discovery for the International Committee of the Red Cross. The IDF alleged this was an attempt by Hamas to create a false impression of efforts to locate the bodies, a claim Hamas has yet to directly address. This news has ignited fierce anger within Israel, with far-right ministers Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich fiercely denouncing Hamas and urging Prime Minister Netanyahu to reignite the war. Under the terms of the ceasefire agreement, which became effective on October 10, Hamas is obligated to return the remains of all Israeli hostages with utmost expediency. In return, Israel has committed to handing over the bodies of 15 Palestinian individuals for every Israeli hostage whose remains are recovered. To date, Hamas has returned the remains of 15 hostages, with 13 bodies still unaccounted for within the territory. The militant group has stated that the precise locations of all bodies are unknown, citing a loss of contact with several of its units that were reportedly holding the captives and subsequently killed during Israeli bombardments. While President Trump has acknowledged the difficulties in reaching some of the bodies, he also pointed out that others they can return now and, for some reason, they are not. He further suggested it may have to do with the disarming of Hamas. Indeed, Israel has made the disarmament of Hamas a paramount objective, deeming it a critical precondition for bringing an end to the protracted 2-year conflict. Earlier, on Sunday, Hamas's chief negotiator, Khalil al-Hayya articulated the group's stance, stating that their weapons are tied to the existence of occupation and aggression. He added, "If the occupation ends, these weapons will be handed over to the state." It remains unclear whether this statement was a veiled reference to the yet-to-be-established Palestinian governing authority anticipated to assume administrative control of Gaza once Hamas